So thank you very much, Dan. I'm new to Apple, and so you'll have to bear with me here. But I'd like to thank you all for your attention. I don't know if you saw that short little clip I was showing just as Dan was talking, but it shows a salamander with their limb regrowing. And wouldn't it be just wonderful if we could take body parts and regrow them? And really, that's the essence behind regenerative medicine. What I want to share with you today is a breakthrough we've made at Induced Biologics in bone regeneration. Induced Biologics is a regenerative medicine company. We focus on bone regeneration, whether it be in the spine, in the orthopedic area, or in the craniofacial area. We focus on the regeneration of bone tissue wherever it might be. So as he mentioned, I mean, if you're interested in an investment that will provide what we feel will be a great return at the same time as providing a social impact, reducing hospital stays, reducing operating room times, improving patients' quality of life. That's what we offer with this technology. What does it look like? It's very simple. It's a bone putty that has all sorts of different features to it that allows us to take advantage of our body's own ability to regenerate tissues. It uses a protein that takes our stem cells, converts them into bone-forming cells, and then regenerates bone as it would have been regenerated in embryo. From an investment standpoint, we feel we've de-risked it from three perspectives. From a regulatory perspective, which is, as Dan was saying, is a big part of getting these products to market. We have been designated by the FDA as a medical device, and every component of our product has already been dealt with, addressed, and approved by the FDA. The combination of the three components of our product is what we're getting approved. So it's a fairly clear pathway. From a clinical standpoint, and I'll show you in just a moment, we've actually used the concept already on patients, and we know that it's effective. So while we do have to go through the clinical trials, we've de-risked it to a certain extent, and I'll explain to you how we've done that. In terms of the market is has been proven. There is one competitive product, sort of like a first generation product that's on the market that's sold upwards of $1 billion. We feel the market is significantly larger than that. So we feel we have an investment here with a high likelihood of a return. We already have some positive clinical results, and there's a high likelihood of getting regulatory approval. Who am I? My name is Cameron Clokey. I'm an oral and maxillofacial surgeon, so I'm actually a surgeon. I have a PhD in bone regeneration. From an academic standpoint, I have been dean of a dental school. I have served as the chairman of the oral maxillofacial surgery department at the University of Toronto. I've been chief of surgery at the University of Toronto. In 2008, I gave all of that up to focus on the development of this product and to run Induced Biologics. From a technology standpoint, a commercial standpoint, back in 1996, I developed the first bone putty in the series of bone putties that we have been developing called Dynagraft. Dynagraft and its partnering products, or the other products that we've launched since then, sell about $200 million into the US market today under different names. What we decided in 2008 is, it's a fairly complex story we can get into if you're interested, but we focused all of our efforts on this one product. We were able to get back the technology from a firm that had purchased the technology, and we put it into, sorry about that, we put it into Induced Biologics. Let me just do this. And this. Very good. But over the years, because of my relationships in this industry, both clinically and commercially, I have been able to run across a number of people who I feel are first-class people in the industry. And I've been able to entice some of them into our team. And I think we have a first-class team. We have Jim DeMessa, for example, who is our COO. He runs day-to-day business operations. He's been president and CEO of a number of biotech companies. Nancy Colson, who is our regulatory affairs person, that is so key for this particular product. She was the former worldwide head of regulatory affairs for Johnson & Johnson. She has tremendous experience, and we were very happy that she came aboard after she retired from Johnson & Johnson. In terms of our directors, they represent people that are interested in the space and also have invested in the company. Robert McEwen, for example, is from the mining industry, but he also runs Canada's largest regenerative medicine think tank. and he's invested $6 million already in this concept. Nick Green is a CEO of a company that deals with proteins, makes proteins. They are our strategic partner in the manufacture of proteins, and that's a key component of our product, and we can talk about that in just a moment. So what have we done? 2008, we had this concept of this protein that would regenerate bone. Medtronic had launched a product in the marketplace that was doing very well, sold almost $1 billion in 2009, but it was very expensive. The marketplace, while it was adopting it, the surgeons are thirsty for this type of product, but it was very, very expensive. So we focused on, and we had been focusing on, the manufacture of this protein to see if we could find a way to reduce the cost of manufacture. We found a very unique way of manufacturing this protein that that we then had to scale up. So between 2008 and 2010, we scaled up manufacturing and have become the largest producers of this particular protein in the world. From that point on, we then had to initiate or finalize the design of our actual bioimplant and then initiate our regulatory process. We were very pleased in 2011 to be designated by the FDA as a medical device. That allowed for a very clear pathway to commercialization. We have to go through a preclinical step, which we're in right now, move on to pilot clinicals, and then finally pivotal clinicals, which should result in a commercial product by 2018. In terms of value, in terms of investment value, the true value inflection point for this product is in 2016 when we finish the pilot clinicals. All the partners that I've been talking to suggest that once we have our clinical results, that's when we become a target for acquisition, and that's what we're focusing on right now, that 2016 value inflection point. And we'll talk a little bit about value in a few moments. The area we work at is called orthobiologics. It's part of regenerative medicine. It's found at the intersection between orthopedics, spine, and the dental market, if you will. And it's about a $7 billion market today, growing at about 10% per year. The market is divided up, as you see on the screen here. The majority of the market, I sort of have to hold the computer, it slides off. About 50% of the market is human products that are processed in one form or the other. And really what is driving this market is the performance of these products, the handling of these products, the safety profile, and that's where we come to play. Our product is completely synthetic. We have no human components involved in this product, and also we are cost effective. And we feel by offering these advantages and addressing them, we will be able to capture the majority of that market. Most of the competition is what we call osteoconductive, which means they have a scaffold that allows bone to grow across it and form new bone. It is kind of a passive process that allows bone to form in that manner. What we do is we incorporate this protein within the structure of these scaffolds. This then stimulates bone cells or the stem cells to be attracted, and then it converts them into bone forms, and we get a much more robust formation of bone. And this process is called osteoinduction, and it occurs over about a 1 month period. From the competitive standpoint, the competitor's product is from Medtronic. Essentially, it has a 3-part kit. You have to mix a powder with the water, and then you have to let it sit for 20 minutes. And at the end of the 20 minutes, you get something that looks like tissue paper, which when you think of bone, how is tissue paper going to help the healing of bone? It really doesn't have the right consistency. So the problems are it takes 20 minutes to prepare, time is money in the operating room, it's difficult to handle, which leads to surgeon frustration. It technically doesn't deliver the bone morphogenic protein very well, and high doses are required, which ultimately leads to an expensive product. Despite all of that, they've still had peak sales of almost $1 billion. Our product we call Urist, and we can talk about that in a later session, but it's fairly simple. It's a 2-part system. Sorry about this again. And there we go. Sorry. There we go. There's a gel and a powder component. You simply mix them together. Within seconds, it's ready to use. It's a moldable putty that can be placed at any bony site within the body. Probably the most significant feature of this is how we've designed the delivery of the protein. The competitor's protein releases the protein, and the product actually releases about 90% of the protein in the first day. What we what we do is we allow for the sustained release over that 1 month period that's required for ultimate bone formation. The net result is that we form, with half of the amount of BMP, or the protein, we actually form twice the amount of bone in most of the studies that we have performed. As I indicated, I am a surgeon, so I do have some clinical experience with this, and we can talk about that in the question period afterwards.
So like implants on the teeth, when you have an implant and you got the bone that grows, it's
So
a
yeah,
relationship.
so I'll show you exactly this. So this is a patient with a large defect in the mandible, and it's a tumor called amyoblastoma. It needs to be resected. So what you're looking at here is literally the resection margins. There's a defect in the jawbone. We then take this material, we can form it into the shape of the defect, implant it back in, and then go ahead later on and then insert dental implants or whatever. And that's in our area. And we've treated over 100 patients using this approach. And this just gives you an idea of what it looks like three-dimensionally. In terms of we have intellectual property related to the carrier, the delivery, our manufacturing methods we've kept proprietary to keep others out of the space, and we own our own processing system, which is very different than Medtronic. So in summary, if I may, to date we've had an investment of almost $10 million. In terms of valuation, our company has slowly increased in value over the past 6 years, but really, as I indicated earlier, at this point, we're looking for a total of $3 million to finish our preclinicals, an additional $5 million to get through pilot, and what that does to our valuation, as I say, once we get through it, drives the valuation to somewhere around $200 million based on other deals that have been done in this space in the recent time. So I know I've just very quickly given you a brief overview of what we are at Induced Biologics. I'm happy to move on to the next session.
That's great. Okay, do the one-on-ones here. So if you